Hey everybody, welcome to the Cyber Monday show. We have an absolute banger in store. But first, before we dive into it, join the Republic of Hackers Discord. Kind of relevant for this episode. You'll see why. But there is a link down in the description, so definitely join. It is an awesome community. We will be talking more about that too. This is a shameless plug. We got merch, so you should go buy some. There's a link in the description for that too. That's legit. Anyway, let's join with Makeshift. Sir, how are you?
What's going on, dude?
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, it is the roast of Raven Hacks.
What's going on, everybody?
Oh, snap. There he is.
How's it going?
It's going good. It's going good. It's been a long Monday, but we're here, and I have my bourbon in hand. Dave, sorry, doxing you already.
Man, we haven't even been in this a minute.
Everybody type F for respects in the chat for Makeshift's privacy. It's gone.
Man.
Gone. It's gone. Well, thank you so much for joining.
Yep.
Everybody, I mean, a lot of people that are watching probably know who you are, but there might be people that don't know who you are. So do you mind just kind of going through your background in cybersecurity as well as, your role with Republic of Hackers?
Yeah, for sure. My name is Josh. I'm a Canadian that has been in cybersecurity for only a few years. In total in the IT field for 18 years. Everything from help desk to desktop. I worked there for a few years and moved into a sysadmin role, and I stayed there for a lot of years, for about 8 or 9 years. Just working everything from exchange admin to setting up domain controllers to doing everything a sysadmin would do. I have my diploma in network and internet security. Kind of put it by the wayside. Never really thought that cybersecurity would be, a thing for me. And transitioned after a while into a solution architect role, got my TOGAF, worked my butt off doing, business implementations and security solutions implementations. And I was feeling really burnt out. And, I moved over to my current provider, or my current position, current company, sorry. They had kind of poached me over, and I moved over and I actually became a DBA for 2 or 3 years, and snuck my way into the cybersecurity world, became friends with the cyber guys. And I was just like, hey, if you have any free cycles, let me in. And, definitely helped. There was 2 of them at the time. There's only 3 of us now. We're a credit union, one of the larger ones in Canada. And it's moved into a cybersecurity role and do some pen testing, do some blue teaming, do some GRC, and most recently started a new business with some friends, and I've become the CISO for a tech startup. So that's pretty new and exciting for me.
Staying busy. I love it.
Never stop. And run Republic of Hackers with the goof down there.
So let's talk about the Republic of Hackers. Talk about your time with ROH and the community there.
Yeah, I'm the troll for sure. I have fun. The beautiful thing about my work is that, I can engage with people throughout the day. I don't really take a lunch break. I don't take any formal breaks. So I turn my head to the side and I'll smack talk somebody for a little bit here and there. And Mars Krabs says he's the troll, and I know who he is, but I think I have him beat there. I Make and Zero started, they collaborated and built this beautiful community together. And I was a moderator from the get-go. And then a few months in, they were just like, Josh, do you want to hop on and be an admin? And absolutely. I love helping people get into cyber. I like doing peer guidance with people. I think last year I did, like 60 some resumes. I helped people just edit and modify. I'm not a pro resume writer, but I just gave my tips and what's gotten me hired. So I thought little things like that could really benefit the community. So, outside of me smack talking everybody, especially Eric Bellardo, we have some fun, and I do like helping people. So that's why I stuck around.
I can tell Make has some things flowing through his head right now.
Yeah, we like to have fun in the channel. I mean, we know when to, get down to serious when we have to discuss certain business things and everything. But yeah, I mean, it's a good time. That's why I like, I've been trying to be more active in there. I know I was kind of sucking in there for a minute, but it is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's like we can sit in there and we can talk crap and everything, but then it's like, then you have people that are reaching out for questions and they're asking for help on stuff. And it's like, we're trying to get on that. And if we're unavailable, somebody else in the server is able to jump in and help them. So yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, we have fun. I mean, at the end of the day, we're here to help each other. Like, I have no, we have no stake in it financially. We just go on, we help each other out. We're starting an EJPT certification study group. Q-Hum does an OSCP study group every Saturday. He hops on and shows people how to do OSCP prep, whether it be Active Directory exploits, hack the box stuff. It's really good. It's a lot of fun. He's really engaging. We usually get about 30 or 40 people in on those streams. I know Lilu and Poncho are doing panels every second Friday or every Friday. I can't remember. They have one coming up on this Friday about how to talk to the executives. And I'm going to love that. I think Zero UID's hopping on too, the boss man himself. So, I mean, I hope everyone can make it out for that. And it's for an hour or however long you can join, but it's definitely cool to come and interact with us because, we have about 1,000 members. It's a pretty active community. And
a little more.
Is it more?
Yeah, I think we're like just over, not by like a ton, but we are just over it barely.
Yeah. So we're hoping to get partnership with Discord. We're really excited.
And I'm going to add two because we haven't quite gotten down to like recording this stuff yet, but we did just recently do a hardware hacking / soldering workshop with the one and only Blenster from Twitter, who's a really good buddy of mine and was generous enough to hop on. I think we had Colonel Panic that brought him into the server and had him do that. And that was a blast. I mean, we had probably 20, 25 people there watching him. And then not that long ago, Josh, me, Lilo, and God, who else was in that?
Punch.
Yeah. We were all sitting there and we did we were trying to help people man, I am blanking right now. What did we talk about? It was talking about your raises and everything, how to negotiate raises and salaries and such. And we had probably close to 50, 60 people in there on that one too. We've got a lot of different talks and everything that we're trying to bring in there. So
Tina's calling me a donut.
Kind of are. With the sprinkles on top.
Tish, we definitely do beginner stuff. We're everything from beginners to advanced. We have people that are starting out that they're in high school, and we have people that are CISSPs and they're CISOs and CTOs. We're a community for everybody, and if you just want to come and hang out and feel it out, please come in and just chat with us.
There's a link in the Discord. It's easy. Jump on in. But yeah, I want to kind of echo everything that you just said because since we kicked off this partnership, I've been trying to be a bit more active with Discord. Normally by default, it's you got a lot going on in the day. I just kind of focus on everything else. But being able interacting with the community, I was in one of the live streams that you guys had. It was Lilo and Poncho that were leading 2 weeks ago. I think. And the time has flown, and that was super helpful. I mean, there's really cool stuff going on, on the regular, weekly, more than weekly, going on the server. Some really excellent advice and helpful information going on. So I can't recommend it more. It's it's a great collaborative learning environment that no matter what level you are at, there's stuff that you can take away.
Yeah, and I mean, just to add to that, I mean, it's blue team oriented, red team oriented. It does offensive, defensive, GRC. Lilu is probably one of the best cloud practitioners I know, and she leads that channel. And if you want to know anything about the cloud, she's the person to talk to.
She just got a new cert too.
I'm sorry?
Said she just got that new cert too.
Yeah, she did. Well, we'll have to have her on soon. I don't know if you have her booked in.
We do, yeah. Yeah, just a teaser for the future. We have Lilo coming on as well in the next few weeks.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's super exciting. I mean, there's just the wealth of knowledge that's there and available and so interactive. I mean, everybody, you know, from the rest of the admins, from the staff to, I mean, everybody, like, you know, just wheeling and dealing information. It's so awesome.
We have regular streamers too. Like, you know, they're not parts of staff. They just hop on. And I mean, Knight, you know, I've known him for just a little bit over a year now, I think. And he's 366 or 367 days of streaming today on Hack the Box and Try Hack Me. He has a streak going on for Try Hack Me, and he started from, you know, he's a network switching guy, and just became one of the coolest hackers I know. He's ranked top 5 in the world on Try Hack Me, and isn't in the industry.
That's wild. That's wild. So I was kind of like perusing my way through the Discord one day, and like I saw the stream, and like I clicked on it without, like, I was like absent-minded. I thought it was like a chat, you know, you could just like click and see like what the history was. No, it joins you on, and so everybody like sees me. It's kind of like walking into a room like at a convention, and then or like at school, you walk in and then you realize you're in the wrong class and you walk out. So like I get like a DM like, hey, you can like join the stream if you want. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm working. This is, you know, can't be here. Not working, but you know, I'm busy. But yeah, no, actually, an anonymous comments, and this is one that I really was so curious about. You say Lilo, and not to dox Lilo. Lilo is great with cloud. Anonymous is like the cloud, like shaman. Is that Lilo?
Yes. Yeah. She's the cloud goddess, princess, mermaid, I think is what we call her. I can't remember. It changes daily, but when you want to know about networking or cloud stuff, yeah, she is like unreal. Yeah,
I'm gonna need to ask her about this singularity and the true cloud's embrace. I don't know if you've seen the chat, but I have so many questions. I'm so interested to learn more and scared at the same time.
She's a pretty scary person.
Anyway, so that's awesome. So, you know, you got that going on. You got Republic of Hackers going on. You got this new company going on, which is exciting.
very.
You know, what's something that's really exciting about 2022 that you're just, you know, you're very excited to get moving on?
I mean, there's a few things. The EJPT, you know, I have a few certs from my Microsoft days. I have my Sec Plus. I have a few MCSAs from my sysadmin days as well. But you know, as a full scope security analyst, I really think that I'm going to start showing people like QHUM does work through their EJPT, maybe the ECPPT, go through the OSCP. So get a few certs this year, just for fun. You know, my workplace pays for a few of them a year, which is really nice. I'm privileged to be allowed that. And show people kind of the tips and tricks of how to pass a cert, and maybe some hack tricks along the way, whether it be, you know, from any phase of the attack cycle. The company that I'm working for, it's a tech startup. We're going to be providing some web services. So working from a CISO role, you know, doing GRC full time, you know, after my 9 to 5 is my, you know, my 9 to 9 or 5 to 9, sorry. You know, understanding GRC, understanding frameworks. Like we're going to be trying to align to NIST frameworks as ISO frameworks, maybe some COBIT. So learning all about that kind of stuff, learning about all of the fun GDPR and PIPEDA and HIPAA and all that stuff is super dry, but very exciting because I like getting away from the operational. You know, I like the thought of becoming tactical and strategic. And so, you know, we've hired a few developers and we're really leaning on that. So I hope I can retire from my full-time gig and do this side gig for, you know, by the end of the year. And I don't stig things, Hack. I know who you are, Zero. I'm not stigging. We're doing a containered deployment, so we don't need to do your weird 3-letter word best practices.
He's always trying to stig things. It's like fuzzing stuff in our server.
Oh yeah, Was it?
For those that aren't familiar, what does STIG stand for?
Oh, I have no idea. What does it stand for?
It's a great question. Pop it in the chat. I'm scared to Google it, given that it is on this live stream. But so actually, I have another question on Republic of Hackers, because I feel like you have a very interesting perspective on the kinds of things. And actually, real quick, before we dive into that, Eric Bellardo says Security Technical Implementation Guide.
There you go.
Thank you, Eric. I appreciate it.
He Googled it. Don't give him credit.
he's also saying Pipeta is Canadian stuff. I know that because the province I live in is governed by Pipeta. So you can kind of figure out with a little bit of OSINT what province I live in now.
They're going to be showing up at your front door in 2 days. That's it. But I feel like both you and Mick, there's an open question to both of you guys. You guys have a very interesting perspective into the things that people are wanting to get into cybersecurity, are interested in learning, and generally where they're at by the time that they get to the Republic of Hackers Discord. What are some things that you commonly see, like the average person that's joining, where they're strongest, and on average, where do you see that they're weakest?
I want to make a joke so bad. I really do.
I
was gonna say their strongest is asking how to get into cyber. Their weakest is Googling it, but but that's the smart ass part of me that wants to say it. No, a lot of people that at least that I've come across that have asked, like, oh, how do I get into cyber? I'm joining the server. I want to start learning some stuff. I mean, I have to say I give them credit for wanting to join. I mean, it's like walking into this giant room full of people and just having this megaphone going, I don't know anything, teach me. Like that can be kind of daunting to just go in there and admit something that you don't know and have a bunch of people, you're opening yourself up to being ridiculed. But that's not what we do. And we try to have some patience because, I mean, obviously we get hit with that day in, day out. I mean, I'm sure between me and Josh's DMs, both on Twitter and Discord, we could write a Harry Potter book, with usernames. But, we try to tell them, what are you looking to get into, and their strongest point is that they have this idea of what, they know that they want to hack. That's their strongest thing, I think, is that they know that they want to join the server and they want to learn how to hack. I think their weakest thing is the fact that they don't know where to start. And it's a good thing and a bad thing, because it's a good thing that, you join the Republic of Hackers. This is a great place to learn this. This is what we literally created this entire thing for. The bad thing is, it's like, again, I just wish maybe somebody would have, or that they would have done just a tiny bit of research, and have a little bit of understanding of like what actually goes into hacking. So you're not just going, I don't know anything. Because then I'm going to be like, there's a 12-hour long intro video from Cyber Mentor on YouTube that goes over the intros to hacking. Like, I could point you there, but yeah, it gets kind of tricky because you don't know, necessarily where their skills at unless you start talking to them. You kind of have to go run them through like a Facebook or MySpace survey, and figure out where their skills are, what they know, before we can really start kind of helping them out.
I think additionally to that, Zero is starting a website. I'm not going to get into it, but it's going to encompass that, and it's going to be kind of a pick one, choose one. You pick what interests you, and it's going to kind of help guide you in that career. Like Eric says, cybersecurity isn't a job; it's a career field. Mm-hmm. Some people start SOC, stay SOC. Some people are blue team and sysadmins. Some people like being on the NOC. Some people like being red teamers, blue teamers, pen testers, GRC, auditors. Like, it's huge. It's such a huge field to get into. Figure out what interests you, because, as you're gonna change your views every 3-6 months, every year, every 3 years. What's interesting to you right now might not be interesting to you once you get a little bit more education and experience in the field. So do your research and come to us. I mean, we're always going to, we'll always answer the question, and we'll always help everybody that asks us how to get into cyber. Colonel Panic right now is guiding people on how to get into university and into WGU specifically, and showing them how easy it is. If you're not into the traditional college and self-driven, he's going to teach you how to apply and get into the college that you want and get a cybersecurity diploma or degree, and start your career, because there's not one true path in cybersecurity. You can ask me. I went the college route and I got experience and I worked my way up. I mean, 10 years in blue teaming and 18 years total in the field in IT. And, it's not going to be the same way as Makeshift. I mean, Makeshift was 3 years help desk, I want to say, and moved into a stock role. And same with you, Caleb. Like, it could have been a whole different path for you. It's not a one size fit all, right? You don't go to school. You don't get an education degree. You don't become a teacher. We're all different. And everybody's path is unique and everybody's experience is unique. And that's what makes cybersecurity such a fun field to get into, because you don't need the traditional knowledge or the, what animal can climb the tree the best to have that overarching education and who's the best at, remembering algorithms to be a programmer. I mean, it's tailored to every type of individual. And that's why, it's so much fun for such a diverse group of people.
I love it. Kind of to continue this line, what do you guys notice that people are really like having conversations about cybersecurity ethics all that often? Because we talk quite often about the technical, how to hack and how to do blue team, where the conversation is starting more and more, that I'm seeing at least, about the quote unquote soft skills, like how to interact with people, how to navigate companies, how to build a resume, stuff like that. What about like ethics? Are we creating ethical professionals? Are we creating ethical hackers? What have you guys seen on that?
It really comes down to, like, traditionally they're called mentors-mentee relationships, whether it be a coworker or a friend or a guiding or a teacher or an aunt or an uncle or anything. I'd like to break away from that term mentor-mentee. I mean, it's pure guidance. We're all learning from each other, no matter on what field you are. So when I say pure guidance, I'm really meaning that traditional mentor-menteeship. If you have someone helping guide you, and a group of people that you're working with or learning with guide you, you're gonna take on a lot of those traits. I work with a lot of people in my past that are a little jaded and they're negative, and it's because of the people that they surrounded themselves with. So if you come to a really cool place, you come and learn from StudioSec on your YouTube channel. If you come to Republic of Hackers, Eric Bellardo's Cyber Warriors, there's tons of people out there that provide that promote love within the field, and guidance at the same time. So all I have to say there is, watch who you're learning from, because you're going to pick up those traits. At the end of the day, you are who you surround yourself with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's such a good point. And I feel like that's a very timely point too. You learn the traits of your mentor.
Yeah.
And my wife and I talk about this with we don't have kids, but like whenever we talk about, if we were to be parents, how important it is to be intentional around kids, just because they will learn everything. Even if you're not intentionally teaching them something, they'll just pick it up like through osmosis. But it's like that happens the same way in cybersecurity. And what are some I'm trying to think of how to like craft this question. What are like some ways that people can unlearn the bad habits that they see, and then who are some people that they can learn the good habits from?
That's a heavy question.
That's a big question. We could probably spend the next like hour and a half talking about it. So, no pressure.
So, my mom, social worker, my wife is a social worker. So, they have to lead by loving, and they have to show people that they, lead by care. And I learn a lot from my wife. I learned a lot from my mom growing up. And I learned a lot from people like Dave. I mean, Dave and I talk every day, and he never has a bad thing to say about anybody. And so, how you can unbreak those habits is reflect and whether it be like a 360 degree, I can't remember exactly what it's called, like a review of yourself. You ask people to review you anonymously, and they tell you the good things and bad things, and you're open to it and introspective. Those are ways. That's one way that you can actually learn a little bit about yourself that you maybe aren't seeing, that you're blind to, because not everyone understands that. I have this bad quality, this bad trait. Sometimes they need an external source to tell them that, whether it be your mentor or a peer, telling from a loving perspective, saying, I really see that you're negative in this situation. At the same time, you have to be open to it, because some people aren't open to change, and that is what it is. And they'll hit rock bottom, or they'll lose their job, or something will happen in their personal life until they realize it. So just have an open heart all the time. That's the best way to do it. Like I say, like I joke all the time on Republic Hackers, and I troll your channel. I troll Cyber Warriors and Eric's channels all the time, and I have fun. But I mean, I'm not that person all the time. And if you do come to me, I know some people ask for one-on-ones or whatever. I'm always open to it. If you need a mentor and you're looking for help and you're looking for change, DM me. I mean, DM me in ROH. You can DM me on Twitter. I'm at TheRaven Hacks. And I'll talk to you. I'll put some time aside if you need some resume review, if you need any help. I'm not a counselor. I'm not good at counseling, and I'm not registered. I'm not going to promote that. But if you just need someone to talk to and maybe build some ideas on, I'm here for you. I'm here for everybody. That's what we do.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump in, and I'm gonna compliment that by saying, like, if you've got some bad habits, whether that's in your hacking, and you're trying to do whatever, or even just like, just personally, again, I think surrounding yourself with people that, don't do that stuff, like Josh was saying, like if you jump into Republic of Hackers, like we all joke around everything, but we all know like where to draw the line. We're always there to help people. You've got people like Cyber Warrior, yourself, Eric, all these other people. And I mean, I could list a whole ton of them, on Twitter, even, that are some of the absolute nicest people that you'll ever meet. And I think it's like, if you have some bad tendencies or whatever, if you start interacting with these people and actually getting to know them and talk to them and jumping on our, servers like ours and chit-chatting with these people, you're going to start picking up on how to start, changing, like a lot of people say, like you are what you surround yourself with in your environment, I mean, that's why you have people that, when they surround themselves with bad people, they start taking on bad traits and they start doing bad activities and everything. When you start surrounding yourself with good people and people that are, positive and, they're uplifting and supportive and everything, you're going to kind of start just naturally taking on those traits, So I think that is one of the biggest things is, find people that are positive, that are uplifting, that are supportive, that are, that are there to help you. And, just like Josh said, like, we're here to listen, his DMs are open. My DMs are open. StudioSec's DMs are open. Like,
just making
are they? I'm kidding. Yeah.
But in all seriousness, like, yeah, like there's a ton of people whose DMs are open. And, especially, like I said, I can only really speak for myself and Josh, but, we are here to help you. We're not counselors, but if you need an ear, we can lend too. That's what we're here to do. And,
the ultimate goal is to see everybody that we help surpass our skill level and surpass us as humans. I mean, that's how we drive, our communities, and that's how we drive, cybersecurity as a whole. I mean, we don't want to see the bitter people that are lying about finding vulnerabilities in certain software for the Beijing Olympics.
What are you talking about? What? I need a. That's frightening. That's frightening. There's got to be some news articles I got to check out about that.
Yeah, it's. I mean, my friend Fogg from Republic of Hackers showed me this tweet a couple days ago, and Joe Rogan is tweeting it. Members of Congress are tweeting it, and the people that are actually doing reverse engineering have debunked him and his claims. And I'm not going to get into it because I don't need a flame war and people calling me out. But I haven't done any research myself. I've only read what others have researched. I've read a few articles on it and a few strings of tweets, and it does look legitimate that his claims are false and he's spreading misinformation. If you want to see who I'm talking about, just go to my Twitter. I'm tweeting about it a lot, so I'm not calling him out on this show though. So that's not me right now.
Well, I think that is an important conversation, especially now that it's getting to a point where it seems like it kind of happens on repeat.
Cyclical.
And there's two different routes that I feel like we can talk about it. One is Dunning-Kruger, which if you're getting into cybersecurity, that actually is a legitimate thing. Like that can lead to some serious imposter syndrome, depression, and burnout. If you're not aware that that's going to happen, and people react, multiple different ways about it. Some will react where they just burn out and then like their passion for cybersecurity is gone. Some will react the complete opposite way where they become super entrenched and combative. And it's that's one thing that I feel like we should talk about. So we'll table that. Another thing to talk about is doing due diligence and research. I know you guys talked about a lot of people coming into Republic of Hackers kind of asking the same kind of low-level questions, like how to get into. How to get into cybersecurity is a bit more subjective. You can Google it and what in the world. But like other cases, like I don't know, like the questions that you constantly reply to with like Google it. I say constantly reply with that. Classically, you should reply with Google it. How important is doing your own research and doing your own due diligence whenever you see something online? And this is very, very, very applicable. We've talked about that for a long time now, like in our generation, right? But within cybersecurity, where the sensitivity level just kind of gets a bit elevated, I guess you could say, just because it's a day-to-day thing, we're constantly inundated with it. How important is doing your own research to be able to verify if a claim is accurate, and that you're verifying that the person that is presenting the research is valid? I say valid is a reputable source.
The beautiful thing about science is that answers can change, and it's all about the want for knowledge and the better understanding of how things work. And just because you do your research on day one might not mean that it's applicable day two. So consistently doing your research and validating your research are two huge topics. When I'm doing a penetration test and I'm testing controls against, a certain print spooler or, the likes, day one, it might work. Day two, your EDR might pick it up. So you always have to change. So doing your research is good, but always have a support system that you can bounce things off of as well. Don't take your research as, canon. Don't take your research as canon, and always second guess yourself and learn, because technology changes so fast that we can't just learn something and then stick by it for the rest of our career or the rest of the week. So it's imperative that we do our research, use it, understand it as a group, bounce it off your friends, your hacker buddies, your pen test pals, whatever they are, and keep relearning. So I think, researching. My first mentor, his name was Kyle. When I was a help desk tech, I would ask him all the time, and he'd always give me the answer. And he said one day, he sat me down and said, "Josh, you're never going to learn if you keep asking me the answer, because you're just learning to ask me what the answer is. What I want you to do is spend 45 minutes on the question. If you still can't understand it and give me proof of that you've done the research, then I'll tell you, and I'm going to teach you. But you need to understand that there's work to be put in, and taking all the shortcuts in life aren't going to get you anywhere." So that's kind of, I've stuck to it. And you do research. You can still ask people. That's a lot of our data is networking and understanding. Google is just a big brain dump of everybody's knowledge in the world, right? And research. So sometimes going to your friend that's done it a million times and you just need a quick answer is fine, but don't make a habit of it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And one of the things that's helped me is duplicability. I feel like if I can duplicate it on my own, then I feel like I'll have like a better grasp of things. So if that's like, if you're watching and you're looking for like a barometer, not saying that that has to be it, but for me, that's just something that I look for. Make you look like you're about to say something. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine. I was gonna let you say what you're gonna say first before I said what I was gonna say.
No, yeah, I got mine now.
No, I don't remember what I was gonna say.
Okay, well, on that note, let's talk about Dunning. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, no. What I was gonna say too, as far as complimenting, what Josh was saying is, yeah, like the technology changes every day. I mean, and a good example of that is what we just dealt with back in December with Log4j. It was like, okay, well, if you would have read what happened when it first happened, okay, yeah, you would have had a good understanding of how it was being exploited in the whole 9 yards. But then there was like 4 other exploits that came out after that were CVEs that were just bam, 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 bam. And it's like, okay, well, now you have to make sure that you research that. Because if you only did your research on this first one, well, then you're only going to be trying to patch for this. You're not, understanding and aware of this other thing. But I want to go back. I want to repeat exactly what Josh said. And this is, I've gotten told to kind of, reword or rephrase how I've said this before, because this kind of goes back to when people ask you to jump into cyber, how do I get into cybersecurity? And I'm always like, what have you done thus far? Or when they come up with another question and I'm like, what have you done thus far? I really, really, really want to reiterate the fact of what Josh said. If you have a question, spend the time. I'm not saying you have to spend 45 minutes on it, but even a half an hour, even 15 minutes or so, putting some amount of your own effort into researching this, because I'm going to tell you what, whether you're red team, whether you're blue team, whether you're purple team, whatever other color team there is, green, yellow,
Green.
green,
Burgundy.
but whatever area of cybersecurity you are trying to get into, you have to be able to do your own research for stuff. This isn't, like if you're red team, you're researching different exploits. You're researching, okay, what's the newest, hottest thing that just came out that I can start trying to exploit on other people's systems and networks that maybe they don't even know about, that they haven't patched for. As a blue team member, you're doing the exact same thing. You're trying to figure out what vulnerabilities are out there that just popped so that you can start, hardening your network against it. If you're GRC, okay, there's different frameworks that are coming out. Maybe there's updates to them. Research them, figure out how to go about implementing them into your network and into your, into your company. You have to do your own research. And if you don't, you will fall behind. And this industry, unfortunately, it's one of the this kind of slight downsides is that it will chew you alive if you do not do your own research, because you will fall behind, and then you will, then you're going to be wondering, oh, how did I get hacked, or why did I get hacked? Well, because you weren't keeping up with the times.
100%. And I mean, shameless plug, that is kind of like one of the reasons why I made my channel, because I cover a lot of like the very basic entry level stuff, kind of to help automate that process. It's like, hey, what are some basic cybersecurity concepts that you should know before you're learning hacking? You should probably know the CIA triad. It's probably important. There's a lot of other stuff, so hoping to kind of cover a lot of that. But sorry, Make, you look like you were about to say something.
One last thing, because I'm literally like, I'm boosting you guys up. Everybody watching this right now should already be subscribed to StudioSec. You should already watch his videos, the whole 9 yards. If you haven't, you're missing out, because this dude right here literally posts videos. This is the one reason why I have been a fan since the day I found his YouTube channel, was because he takes very technical issues, topics, concepts, whatever, especially in the news, and he breaks them down so that they're really easy for you to understand. I know a lot of people, you might not be super technical, but you're very fascinated by what's going on in the cybersecurity realm. this dude's videos do that exact same thing. Like he takes it, breaks it down, puts it out there for you. And he's even helped me understand certain things. Like when Log4j first came out, I didn't understand any of that because I don't red team to that capacity. So I was like, okay, I need to do some research because this is affecting my blue team day job. And I need to figure out what the heck's going on with this. Watched his video on it. I not only understood exactly what was going on, but I was able to then turn around, take that information, and relay that to a coworker who was questioning the exact same stuff I was, and helped him understand. I actually shared your video at work.
Well, I appreciate it. See, that doesn't count as a shameless plug because that wasn't me plugging it. So I appreciate it. That works. But I mean, I feel like Log4j is actually a phenomenal example, a phenomenal case study, I think, to look into with cybersecurity. Because Josh, you mentioned which one of you guys mentioned the multiple CVEs coming out? Actually, that might have been you, Make. The several other like string of CVEs that came after the initial CVE, and each one of those was progressively more niche case than the other. And like a couple of those were just like denial of service. So they weren't like, you hear Log4j exploit and you're like, oh crap, is this the same as the first one? No, they're not. But you kind of see that like that hack. I don't want to call it the hacker hype train. I haven't come up formally in my head an actual name for this. The cybersecurity hype train, we'll call it that. Where it's just like it's that sounds terrible. And then it's like, but before we do more research, it sounds like it progressively sounds worse and worse. But after like more than just like 5 minutes of research, or even just 5 minutes of research, you're going to realize like, okay, it's really not that bad. But that initial panic spreads pretty quickly. It ties into the previous conversation we were talking about with misinformation.
Yep.
The stuff that scares people spreads so fast, and it with doing your own research, what can we do as cybersecurity professionals to better stamp that down? Because once the train's gone, it's a train and it's gone. You're going to have a very hard time slowing it down, or let alone stopping it.
I feel like the person that we've been kind of jabbing at, that's releasing misinformation, didn't have a good set of supports. It could be other things as well. I mean, it could be a myriad of things. But at the end of the day, just like I said, if you want to break the misinformation, do your research, find a supportive, positive group of people in your life. It doesn't need to be in cybersecurity. It can just be that people that harbor you as a human and that let you flourish as who you are. I think that's huge. I mean, understanding you as a person and understanding your shortcomings and understanding what drives you and what's great about you and your strengths will lead to a loving, humble person, more so than someone that's just doing it for clout. I mean, Colonel Panic calls people clout trout all the time on ROH, and I love it. I think he has a T-shirt he's making up for it too. But a lot of people do it for clout, and they do it for the name, and they do it. And I mean, you're allowed to. It's your prerogative to do cybersecurity or bug bounties or CVDs or whatever you want to do. Do it for you and do it for what you believe in, but make sure that you're doing it ethically. And that this is a big thing on ethics at the end of the day. Understand the ethics of cybersecurity, understand the severity of ethics, and the repercussions of breaking those ethical boundaries of what you're doing, becoming that black hat or even the gray hat, doing some sketchy shit. Stay away from it, because at the end of the day, it's going to ruin you as a person. It's going to ruin your morals and your ethics, and it's really going to ruin how people perceive you. Even if you do it anonymously, it's going to catch up to you, because I mean, your little circle of friends, I mean, everybody talks, and so you just have to watch, just do things above board, and do things because you want to and because it's the right thing to do. If you find a vulnerability, an F12 vulnerability on somebody's website, I mean, ethically disclose and ask them, do you have a coordinated vulnerability disclosure program? Do you have a bug bounty? I mean, ask those questions before you just start dumping information, because they might not understand and they might need you to educate them. Or if they don't and they don't want to hear it, then I mean, you can anonymously do it, because it's not about clout at the end of the day, for me anyway. And I've done that. I have a full sock puppet account and fake emails and stuff that only I know about. And I'll release information to companies that I'm like, hey, I know you don't have a CVD. I just wanted to let you know that this is what's going on with your agency. And some people have come back and said, hey, that's great. And other people most people don't reply. Let's be honest. I mean, in the bug bounty world, a lot of people don't reply unless you're through HackerOne or BugCrowd or one of the big organizations. But if you're doing it on your own, don't look to hear back. Do it because it's the right thing to do.
I'm going to jump in here and I'm going to say something too. I'm not trying to like jump on my soapbox here, but I think I'm going to put one foot up there.
Both feet. We know it's both feet.
I don't need both feet. I'm 6'1", dude. 6'2", really. I grew since I started drinking this old fashioned.
Maybe in confidence.
I stirred a little bit of Miracle Grow in there. But no, I mean, in trying to combat the misinformation, and this is going to be a shameless plug, but I really do. I'm very passionate about Republic of Hackers. I mean, I really, really am. I love that Discord and I love what we do there. And we specifically have a channel set aside for information security news. We don't just put anybody in there. We have people that we know because we've been in the industry for X period of time. We have friends that are, very reputable people that are very knowledgeable, that are not there to spread misinformation. And we put their stuff in that channel so that if you're in our Discord and you're wanting to learn about this stuff, whatever it is, you can go to that channel and you can educate yourself with the right information.
Yeah.
And in regards to, what were you talking about? You were talking about I don't even remember.
We were talking about misinformation. I wanted to also kind of dive into Dunning-Kruger because that's, well, and
be on the latter side, please. Always be on the latter side.
Yeah, and there's so much to unpack there because that's not even something I've talked about on my channel yet. But I feel like since it is kind of cybersecurity related, it's something that we should talk about because again, it kind of ties into the previous threads, but it's also like independent, just something that it can kind of like kill all motivation, where you're kind of like in that slump and you feel like you're just like, you're just losing motivation. How do you guys combat burnout and how do you guys stay humble and look for the ways to continue learning, even whenever it inherently requires an admission of not knowing things, which can be scary?
So I'm outing myself here. I have ADHD, and 99.9% of the things that I pick up in life, whether it be a guitar or art or poetry, I lose interest within a day or two. There's few things in my life that I stay laser focused on. It's been my career, whether it be, IT, cybersecurity, governance risk. And there's something we call laser focus that, us neurodivergents just absolutely love and we focus on. And, Dave can probably back me up on this, that I'm super active on Discord. I'm super active on Twitter. I hyper focus on everything cybersecurity. And it's just like, I don't feel burnout. I'll get a crash, once every couple months and I'll have a sleep and I'll just like unplug for 24 hours or go to the cabin or go fishing or something. But, I come back and it's just the same love. So I really can't speak on burnout in cybersecurity. In IT, I had a little bit of burnout because I was in a team that I wasn't super comfortable with. There was a lot of changes going on and I jumped into the career that I have now because of it. So it really worked out. But I guess have time for things that you love outside of the computer and outside of cybersecurity. I love fishing. I love camping with my wife. I used to love off-roading. I love cars. I play around with things that, I listen to vinyl. throw on like a really cool Oscar Peterson album and just like jam out, lights down and just like listen to some tunes for a bit. Get away from the computer. I mean, the computer is it's this vampire, this leech that sucks you in because it's a myriad of information and this wealth of knowledge that you can't stop, especially with someone like me that hyper focuses. Unplug. Sometimes my wife is like, man, you need to get off the computer. You've been on there from 6 a.m. It's 9 p.m. Come watch a shitty show with me. And I'm like, all right, but sometimes you need those supports to tell you those things because you don't realize it. Like I said, with toxicity and like being negative or, being away from that ethical, positive person that you want to be, sometimes you need those supports. If you don't have those supports, once again, I mean, I'll send you a reminder once in a while. Just message me and be like, hey man, I'm spending 24 hours a day on my computer. Get me away. I'll set a reminder. I'll be like, hey, go for a friggin' walk.
How often have you messaged Knight in the past year?
That guy, I tell you, but it's wild, man. Just get away from the screen once in a while. That's the only way to battle burnout. I'm supposed to work from 8:30 to 4:30. I get on the computer at about 6:30 and I just go through and I mean, it's 7 o'clock my time here and I haven't left the computer. I left to eat dinner and that was it. Take some time for yourself, go for a massage, man, go for a hike, go for a snowshoe. Right now there's a ton of snow out here. So go snowshoeing, have some fun.
Those are such Canadian things to do. Like,
go fire on the ice, go.
I love it. I love it. Meg, what do you got?
So I don't know if a lot of people that watch this I knew. I tried to talk about it a little bit, but I actually suffered, and I'm still kind of like recovering from it. Some pretty bad burnout, and it was because, I wasn't taking time for myself, and that is a big thing that I know. We've even pushed on the server. We've got people that are on there that are very dedicated to this, and that's fantastic. Like, that's what we want in this industry to begin with, is people that are dedicated and passionate and have this wonderful thirst for knowledge and learning. But you really do have to find other hobbies, figure out if you, like for me, like in the wintertime, I'm kind of stuck inside most of the time, so I've been watching a lot of movies and TV shows. Like, that's kind of been my thing. And, but like in the summertime or when it starts getting, nicer out, even in the spring and the fall, I am almost always outside disc golfing. Like, that has been a huge thing for me. I'm very, very passionate about it. I love going out there. I'm probably out on the course at least 3 times a week throwing around, and if I'm not there, I'm at a field throwing. And I have absolutely loved going to the gym, and I really, really try to push people to, like you go and you do the try hack me, the hacked box, port swear, whatever it is that you're working on. You're exercising your mind, you're learning stuff, and that's fantastic. But your mind needs the exercise just as much as your body does. Go to the gym, release some stress. If you're sitting here and you're studying for, an hour or two and you're just like, man, I can't figure out how to get past this, can't pivot my way, from something on one of the boxes on Try Hack Me or Hack the Box or whatever, go for a walk. Go take a walk, mull it over, and then come back. And then you might go, this is something dumb. I didn't, I messed something up. I wasn't thinking about this or whatever, or go to the gym for an hour, then come back. You're gone for 1 hour. Get it out of your system, come back. And then again, you're usually coming at it with a different, mindset, perspective, whatever you want to call it. And you usually will figure it out. But yeah, you really do need to exercise the mind as much as you do the body, and vice versa.
Yeah, I echo that sentiment. And, just some things my wife and I like to do to kind of like blow off steam. We like to work out, and we like to watch really crappy reality TV shows.
Nice.
They're really crappy, but they're actually super high quality, like Married at First Sight, Let me know in the comments if you guys watch that show. It is a
I
banger.
immediately judged you so hard in my mind.
Hey, there are worse. There are worse. That show's actually pretty rad.
I've been told to watch Tampa Bay's. I tried one episode and I was like, this is the worst piece of garbage I've ever seen in my life. I can't stop.
We kind of went down that rabbit hole whenever the pandemic started. We started with The Circle on Netflix. Oh man, how high octane is that? Then we it's so bad. But anyway, I kind of want to like continue with the analogy on exercise. It's so important, like whenever you're working out muscles and working out your body, to give your body rest and enough of it. You know, you can do like 2-day workouts, but like that's kind of like where you're starting to risk it with your body. Like if you need your muscle fibers to recover from what you're doing, especially if you're doing like weightlifting and stuff like that. Same with learning. Same with picking up new things, working in cybersecurity, working in an area where like you're engaging your mind a lot. You need to give plenty of time to rest. Otherwise, you're just that's how injuries happen. And I've seen, crazy stories of people being hospitalized because they burnt out to the point where they had to go to the ER. And I'm like, that sounds terrifying. And the worst thing that could happen is, really anybody has that experience, but especially someone that's, hopefully, watching the stream or in the Republic of Hackers Discord, where we can, kind of help remind them like, hey, take a break.
Yeah.
Just take some time for you. Watch a crappy TV show.
Do some mindfulness exercises. I mean, not everyone, does meditation, but do something that takes your mind off everything, whether it be washing dishes or sweeping the floor or, doing a mindfulness exercise. I mean, there's a ton of apps out there that do it, where you're just sitting and you're focusing on exactly what's happening in the moment. It's amazing how healing it is on your body, taking your mind off of the topic at hand. And like, even if you're in a really tough situation at work, or, you're figuring out a problem, having a problem in an OSCP lab or a try-hack me room or something, and you're stuck for days. I know, I've been there. And just sit and get your mind off of everything. And how you come back and you're like, oh, it was the answer all along. This was it. Sometimes those are little tidbits getting burnt out. And stop, take a breath, take a step away, go do something completely different. I know it's hard to do. It's easy to say, but when you're in that moment and you're so focused on it, sometimes it's the best thing to do is just to walk away from it. Come back with an open mind and an open heart. Yep.
Well, and I'll even jump in here and say too, we kind of talk about it a little bit. There's a few people that are like the bigger advocates, I guess, for it in infosec, especially on Twitter. But you can even start messing with your own mental health at that point. Like, if you're just driving straight into studying all this time, you can start kind of getting like depressed, which, as we know, leads into a whole other slew of other things, that are not great. And that's, again, where, like Josh was saying, with the meditation, with working out, with just doing things to kind of get your mind off of whatever it is that you're that hardcore focused on, because it's think of it as like, when you work out consistently, your muscles are tired. And if you just continue working out, you're going to get sore and you're going to hurt yourself. We always tell people, and I'm very, very passionate about working out too. I had a method where it was a push-pull method. So on one day I do everything pushing. So that's, shoulders, triceps, and chest. Okay, well then the very next day I do everything that's pull, which is like biceps and back. So what I'm doing is I'm giving my muscles that break that they need, because they're not going to grow properly. If you keep studying and just going at it with your mind all the time, you're not going to retain stuff. You're not going to, you're not going to start learning anything, and you're going to burn yourself out. And then you're going to sit back and kick yourself a year later on down the line because you kind of forced yourself out of, cybersecurity because, you kind of did it to yourself. You didn't give yourself that mental break that you need to be able to then retain the stuff and, continue learning. It's a muscle.
Have fun. Build Lego.
Yeah. We got a bunch of people. Elle in chat is a huge Lego dork. I just called it out. I don't even care. We have a bunch of Lego dorks that are on Twitter. Like we're constantly showing off, X-Wings and Millennium Falcons and bouquets of flowers and everything. Like you got to have fun doing that. It's just,
but have fun doing cybersecurity too.
Yeah.
Have fun doing your job. Like find a challenge in what you're doing because it'll keep you interested and keep you entertained. The thing with a lot of cybersecurity people is, they lose interest so fast and they hype out and they're like, well, I wanted to be a pen tester, but I'm in SOC or I'm in blue team and I don't want to, do it in your spare time, bug bounty in your spare time, do something to keep you interested, even if it is on the computer. Like, I play video games a lot of the time too, just to get my mind off things, right? Like I'll jam out and play some vids and exactly. If you have to be on the screen because that's a love of yours. COVID and the pandemic has made me a recluse. I was an extrovert. I'm an introvert now. This is wild getting me, in front of people, even 2 people in face, and I don't know how many people in chat, but it's just like, I'm like, my anxiety's at level 10, because I'm not used to being in the public anymore. So if you have to play video games with some friends just to have some social interaction, but get away from your job, do that too. You don't have to work out. You don't have to diet. You don't have to do whatever you want. Like, those are all great things. They're healthy and I promote them. But if that isn't bringing you happiness, then maybe you need to find something that does. You're going to get out of Republic Hackers and StudioSec's channel and listening to Dave, talk about his beard. You're going to get out of it what you put in. People come onto Republic Hackers and they ask one question, and then 3 weeks later, they ask another question. They're like, well, it's so dead in here. No one answers answers the questions. But you have to engage just as much as we engage with you. If you want it, tag me and just be like, hey, Raven, what's going on today? Or, can you answer this question? I'll point you in the direction. If I can't answer it, most likely I won't be able to answer it because you guys have such hard questions for me. But I can find a group or, one of our subgroups that'll help you out. We're here to help. And if you don't, if you DM me, I don't reply right away. I get a bunch of DMs. I'm sorry. I know Dave does too. I know Tennis does, Zero. We all get a ton of DMs. And if we don't get to it right away, don't feel bad. Just remind us in a day or two because we have to sift through them all. Message us and just interact in channels. I see general chats going on right now too on the Discord. And hop on, start asking other people questions because we're all in it together, right? Just because I'm an admin doesn't mean I'm any smarter or any more experienced than the next person. We have people in there that are starting out that are blowing my mind. These 20, 25-year-old, prodigies that are, working for big defense contractors that I'm like, you are the smartest person I've ever met in my life. And, they're asking me questions. I'm like, I don't know, man, I should be asking you this. So just ask anybody. QHum's running his OSCP prep. If you don't know OSCP prep or you don't know what the OSCP is, it's an OffSec run by Offensive Security, and it's a pen tester certification. Hop in and learn the basics of Windows and Active Directory hacking. EJPT, hop in and start asking questions, and it's free. The courseware is free, and the cert is only $200. It's a penetration tester certification. Hop in, do the labs. I know Knight's been doing them, and he walked in, got bored of the PowerPoints, and I think he got 3 flags on the first box. Just ask. It's great.
Yeah, it's, like I said, I'll mirror and echo all of that. It's, and I've told people this before, like if you have a question, you put it in the Get Help section that we have on there specifically for that. If you don't get your question answered for whatever reason, please DM me. Or DM Josh, or DM any one of us admin or on the staff. Like, get a hold of somebody and say, hey, huh?
Or Caleb. If you have a question about the YouTube channel or anything, plug him too. He's our media manager right now. He has his own little
boost his ego a whole ton. Like, that's the reason why my box is so small. Like, but
y'all thought you saw clout trouting.
Oh yeah, I love it.
But yeah, no, seriously, like you tag any one of us because we're all open to helping you, get better. That's, again, the entire reason why we made that Discord was to help people, if you're not getting your questions answered, tag somebody, like get a hold of somebody and ask. And if we don't know, we try to Google it. And if we don't figure it out through that, then we're going to find somebody that knows the answer. You know, we have we have a little over 1,000 people on that server. There's got to be a chance that at least one person on there knows what, you know, the answer to your question.
We have fun. It's all about having fun. And I mean, I'll say it. We're not going to hack your girlfriend's Facebook. No. We're not going to hack Twitter. We don't do any illegal activities. And if you ask, I mean, we'll ask you to stop and, you know, take appropriate action. We're here ethical, only ethical. And we're here to have fun and just, you know, be a loving, open, accepting environment. No politics, no religion. This is hacking and Josh shit talking everybody because that's what I do.
Yeah.
I love it. So in the next, let's say, few weeks to months, what are some events that members of the Discord have to look forward to?
Yeah. So ROH Happy Hour. I'm just reading it right off my screen here. The Art of Executive Conversation with Lilu and Poncho and Zero. They're going to be speaking about how to communicate the value of what you've accomplished to someone who has the attention span of a gnat. Folks like executives, recruiters, and government officials.
That's why Zero's on there.
February 4th at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, so 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. PST if you're from the coast. And then this Saturday at noon, 1 o'clock Eastern Time, QHUM is doing an OSCP prep. So he's going to be doing, I think it's AD exploitation. So if you want to learn how to do some Active Directory funky stuff, QHUM is the person to talk to, legit.
Yeah.
Legit. Has his OSCP, has his OSWE, and right now is about to write his OSEP.
Dude's a machine.
And like, yeah, the guy, I have a man crush on him. He's awesome.
I love it. Some awesome stuff coming up. So that's exciting. Again, pretty sure everybody that's watching is already on ROH. But if you're not, link in the description. Just be sure to hit it. Josh, this has been fantastic.
Thank you so much for having me.
This has been so good. Thank you for jumping on. And everybody that's been watching, thank you for joining. This has been such a lively chat. This has been great. This has been like just a lot of fun for everybody. So, you know, I'm just so happy. And, you know, I think it's a real reflection of the community at Republic of Hackers and just how vibrant it is that, you know, they bring the party with them. You know, I love that. That's so cool. That's great. So real quick, you know, before we shut it down, if you have one last piece of advice for people that are new in infosec.
Sure. Don't believe you to be lesser or greater than anybody else. You have your own journey. You have your own education and experience. Leverage that to be the greatest person you can be, and make sure that you bring everybody up with you along the way.
So succinct and great. That's awesome. We need to make that into a tattoo. It'd be a long tattoo though. Yeah. That would actually like cover the wrist and then actually, you know, anyway.
Just a wraparound tattoo all the way up your arm.
That would actually kind of rock. Anyway, so thank you so much for joining. Everybody watching, thank you so much for watching. If you know anybody that missed, they will actually. If you know anybody that missed that's interested in watching this, let them know that this will actually be republished for replay this following Monday at 8 a.m. So just let them know that, and this will be back out for everybody. So thank you so much for joining. We will see all of you guys next week. See ya.
Deuces, dog.